All right, welcome back to the pod. Today we have a really good one, but before we get started, go ahead and subscribe, drop a comment, and like the video. We've got a little intro for our guest today. Braden, you want to send us off, brother?
Dude, we're joined here today by Michael McHenry. He is a stud. I just have to say that first before I get into everything epic. You're transforming the restaurant or dining experience in the state. I mean, I've seen it with Sunday's Best. I've been out there a couple of times, and honestly, it's incredible to just have a great place that you can take people. And I've had the opportunity to bring some people with work into it. And I'm like, they always are just impressed by the place and how open and inviting it is. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And then going down the list of things here, it says you've won Restaurateur of the Year. You've won Best Restaurant Concept 5 times. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. A lot of like I'm getting this accolade for a lot of what the team does, but they got to pick someone, I guess.
It's true. They got to have a head at the top, right?
Yeah.
No, it's impressive. It says you've created over 3,000 jobs, which is really impressive in today's day and age. And then you've got over 70 opened restaurants.
Yeah, we've been busy, bro.
It's wild, bro. How long have you been in the game? Time.
Dude, this is my 20th year anniversary right now.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's just over 20 years in the business. Yeah, it's been wild, dude. Millions and millions of people served.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
How did you get into the restaurant business?
Totally by accident, bro. I don't know how much you know of this, but bowling is my sport. So really? I kind of say now I'm shaped like a linebacker at 42, but at 17, I was shaped like a lineman.
Okay.
Right. And, it's like kind of that typical stereotype of like what you see in bowling, bro. It's like, dude's a little chubby, a little out of weight, stands left, throws right, knocks all 10 down, thinks he's really cool, pretty much a dork. And bowling was my sport, man. I've bowled over 30,000 games. I was virtually obsessed. I became obsessed with it when I was 11 years old, and I just never let off the gas. What I also didn't realize is how do you become more goal-oriented than just knocking all 10 down on the first try? Right? I'd be like, oh, try not. The truth is you just stand up, and if your only goal is just knock 10 pins down and sit back down, I had no idea that would apply in so much of my life that it's just geez, I just saw the clear goal. I could see the result at the end. I'd visualize and execute and just applied into my whole life. And so I was fortunate enough to go out and bowl competitively. And I approached the guys at Fat Cats years and years ago. This is clear back in 2002 or 2003. And I went to these guys. I'm like, hey, I want to start my own bowling pro shop. Because the only thing I ever knew, that was my only job. I sold bowling equipment. I taught bowling. I repaired bowling balls. I learned how to sell bowling equipment from a top used card salesman at 12 years old.
Wow.
So it was dude, I learned all these lifelong skills in that sport that I just had no idea. And so I approached the guys at Fat Cat, said, hey, I want to open McHenry Sports Shop. And I negotiated a deal with them. I was 18 years old. I got my deal going with them. And about 6 months into it, these guys are like, hey, you have too much talent for this. I'm like, what? Don't tell me I have too much talent for this. I'm going to own your bowling alley. And they're like, hey, we just think you're too talented. And we have this vision for a restaurant. We think you'd be a great general manager. And have you ever done this before? I'm like, manage people? What? Dude, I'm a team guy. I'm sure I've been on teams before, but I've just worked for myself, and I've been a competitive athlete, And so they're like, hey, we have this vision. And basically 2 hours later, they write on the back of this piece of paper that was like, hey, become the first general manager for what was called then Costa Azul, which is now Costa Vida. So I became the first general manager for the first, Costa Vida. And then I spent the next 7 or 8 years with them just going balls to the walls. I just literally went all in. What's crazy about this is when I said hey, you're crushing my dream. I want to be a professional. I want to be in this business forever. I've always aspired to own bowling alleys. And that was before they called them bowling centers or fun centers and shit. These were straight up. They smelled a little smoky. The pro was there just like you go to a country club and you see a pro golfer in the pro shop. That's what bowling was like back in the day. Wow. Right. And so there was just something that was nostalgic, but yet it was very, I don't want to say legacy. It was so forward for me. I wanted to create that for my life. Mm-hmm. And, growing up with very little choices and my family didn't have money, dude, my dad was figuring it out. My mom left when I was in third grade. So we went to work and I was like, dude, I just want to be rich. I just want to figure this out. And bowling was a sport was hell yeah, I'm going to get an endorsement. I'm like, dude, you're a top professional bowler. You might make $1 million. And if you're a top 100 guy, you're going to make 150,000 a year. But when you've never made anything before, and you're a kid that grew up without anything.
Money. Yeah.
That looks good.
It's dude, my dad loved me and put a house over, and we always had a roof over our head. My dad's a badass in that way, but there wasn't these aspirations to be bigger or be more. It was just, so I felt like I had this responsibility, the stewardship to go out and crush it. So when they approached me, I was like, dude, you're going to try to crush this whole dream for me. I've had this since I was like 11 years old. And about an hour, maybe 2 into the conversation, I agreed. And what I didn't know at that point is it would change my life forever. They were like, come be the first general manager. We're going to pay you $2,000 a year. I lived in Murray at the time and the restaurant was in Provo. They're like, you're going to drive 45 minutes each way. You're going to work 100 hours a week. And for the next 6 to 7 years, you'll never take a day off or a vacation. You in? And they didn't say that to me. That's what I did. And bro, it changed my life forever. So I got in there because these guys saw potential in me. I got in there because they're like, hey, we think you have a talent. I knew nothing about the food business. I'm not a chef, dude. I wasn't a busboy. Like I wasn't a server. Dude, like I never worked as a host. They were just like, bro, come and bring your influence and we'll teach you. There's kind of that old skill, like hire the smile, train the skill. Yeah. I knew nothing. And so what was wild is these guys had such incredibly high standards. I'm talking like the top 1% in the country in restaurants at scale. Their standards were so high.
Like what type of standards you talking
just
about?
Like cleanliness, organization, labor, like they were just so budget savvy and they were so like service savvy. And so like I learned from the greats. Like the greats saw something in there, like, and then because they saw something in me and I didn't have the experience, they tried even harder to make sure I succeeded. So they gave me as many tools and time and energy, and they held me accountable because I got a lot of energy and I'm intense and I'm competitive. So like my mentor, Sean Collins, who was actually on Jimmy's podcast not too long ago, back in that day, like he took no shit, like zero, like rubbed my face in it. If I missed, it was like an ass whooping, right? Like the woodshed was real. I mean, dude, we're talking over 20 years ago, right? And so you can manage it that way. And I responded so well to that. I responded to being held accountable to my potential, not to my work. You see where I'm at? Yeah. There was a big difference. That changed my fucking life, right? Like being held to your potential is radically different than just being held to like you.
100%.
Right? Like to your job title or to your 40 hours a week. Like I remember one time I called Sean and I'm like, dude, I wanted to go to spring break. It was Lake Havasu, bro. I'm like 21. Who doesn't want to go to Lake Havasu when they're 21, dude, on spring break? Like everybody.
Of course.
Right? Wants to go. You want to go fight. You want to hang out with chicks. You want to do all the stuff that's really cool. You were like throwing 360s off the back of speedboats and shit. Like whatever. Jumping off the bridge. And I remember him telling me like, no, dude, like, you know what? Like you're too good for that. And I'm like, what? Really? And so I remember having a short conversation with him. I have 2 experiences on it, but the first one is like, basically talked me out of going to spring break, just go work. And then I remember one time telling him like, dude, I remember telling him I was working so many hours. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning till like 10 o'clock at night. And I remember there were sometimes because I lived in Murray that I would literally sleep in the office above Costa Vida at the entrance of BYU. I would sleep in the conference room and not tell people. And I'd go to Gold's Gym and I'd work out and shower and go to work. Because I want to drive home. So I remember telling him one time, I'm feeling like so overworked. He literally said this to me. He goes, but think about it. Like if you get off work and you go home, like what are you going to do? Hang out with your friends? You're going to stay up till like midnight anyways. So like, why wouldn't you just work? And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I was so bought in to his philosophy. I was so bought in to him as a mentor that I was like, well, fuck it. You're right. Of course. Yeah. Like, why not? So I was like, honestly, dude, I didn't even fucking care about days off anymore. All I cared about was getting rich. What I didn't realize is I was building this really deep and wide architecture on how to treat people, on how to lead people, on how to build cultures that were guest obsessed. Because I came from the guest perspective in my business. Even though I've been in it for 20 years, bro, I'm not a chef. I don't pride myself on like, dude, I'm so damn good at cooking that, or like, I'm amazing at sourcing that. I'm like, no, dude, I have the best fucking chef for that concept. Like I have that guy. I have her. Like I have him. Yeah. Like they get to be those experts. Right? I just get to set up the vision. I get to understand, like I got to show our teams and our partners like what success looks like. Here's our North Star. Here's how we're going to disrupt the industry. And it just so happens that we choose food and beverage as a vertical for that, right? Yeah. We happen to pick like the most subjective business of all to go out and like stir it up. And I kind of like when the odds are stacked against us a little bit. So that was a long response to your short question. But I got in here on accident, dude, and I just never looked back. And a lot of people ask like, well, dude, what about bowling down? I'm like, bro, it was like one day. I spent my whole life doing something and I picked this business and I just turned the page. Wow. And I applied all of those hours, all of that time, all of that discipline. I don't care what sport you're in. Dude, I never discount sport at a professional level because of the commitment that it takes to perform at the highest level of your sport. right? Like if you're a professional basketball player, dude, you have shot thousands and thousands of baskets. If you're a professional basketball player, you have missed thousands of shots, right? Like all of the things that are associated with it. And when I took the discipline of a professional athlete and I applied it towards a business I'd never been a part of, and then I also realized that the business was kind of antiquated and people didn't work super hard. It was like their mindsets were just kind of tired and
weren't as into it.
It felt like there was just I brought a different light to it because I didn't grow up in it. Like it didn't have time to manipulate me.
Yeah.
And I didn't let it when I got in. I'm like, nah, I don't do that. I don't do it that way. And when I ultimately left Costa, I was like, holy shit, I realized that the rest of the world doesn't have that high of standards. Like we were so good at it. I'm like, dude, I remember back then I had an ops director. He freaking checked my bathroom's floor with the bottom of a diaper to see if they were clean. Just think about that. When I was doing this business in Utah County this long ago, or 20 years ago, dude, they were wiping the floor of our restrooms. That's how clean it needed to be. Bro, we were cleaning table bases, bro, smothering burritos, dude, high-fiving chicks and like, upselling desserts all day long. Like this is just like, it was so natural to me. And if someone's standard was lower, I just didn't tolerate it. So if someone tried to like manipulate my mindset or what my mentors were teaching me, I was just closed off to it. Even if it was good advice, I was still closed off to it because I was so bought into that. And I've just basically modeled our companies after that. Like we're so bought in to our obsession.
What was your transition from Costa to what? Do you go right into your first restaurant after that?
No. So, I mean, I spent the next, I spent the next 6 to 8 years, like on the C-suite of emerging brands. So I'd been a part of like multiple restaurant brands. Yeah. All that had merged from Utah. I launched the McHenry Group about 6 years ago. In fact, it'll be 7 years this year. It'll be 7 years in June of this year. And it's kind of wild because we started this thing like, dude, I was in transition. I went from like the president of a company at scale to acquiring a 67 seat, new American style pizza restaurant in Mormon suburbia in Draper. And people are like, dude, what are you talking about? You're going from like millions and millions in revenue and multiple restaurants and large architecture. Like you're going to just like have your own little pizza shop. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because I just spent the last like 10 years of my life in this like fast casual vertical that's like can be almost like dehumanizing because like everyone's in a fucking hurry. Like, you're like, everyone wants a drive through, everyone wants it delivered, everyone wants this piece, people want to order on kiosks, they want apps, they want this. And I'm like, on 123rd South in Draper, every like fast casual and fast food restaurant on the planet is on that street, right? Just think about it, right? From State Street to like 7th East, everybody's on it. Oh yeah. And I'm like, I think it's time to like reintroduce what it means to be a true neighborhood bistro. Like when you walk in, they know your name. Like chef lives in the neighborhood. Like the restaurateur is shaking your hand. Like the host goes to Corner Canyon. Like it's the same servers. And I had a vision for it. I'm like, dude, we're going to slow down and we're going to pivot. And we're going to start humanizing our guests and we're going to start like just being obsessed with them. And if they want the conveniences, great, go to those other places, but you want to come here and be loved on, we got you. And it fucking worked, man.
What's the name of that pizza shop?
Oak Woodfire Kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's crushing it, man. I mean, like, dude, just last week we're up like 125% over prior year on same store sales as a collective. But dude, that business has been in business for 6 years. It grew over 30% last year, 30. Wow. And the pricing increase was less than 8%. So it had over 20% of real growth in year 6, bro. When the industry and markets, like, that stuff's down, and bro, this is another premium experience. And so this is where I don't want to sound like I'm just like fucking rah. But the truth is we've been eating dirt for a long time. We chewed on rocks for a long time. We never let go of our mission. We never let go of just being wildly obsessed with creating the most memorable experience possible through our hospitality and craft. I mean, dude, Oak has one of the largest guest retention of employees or employee retention metrics of any restaurant I've ever seen. Bro, the average server there's been there for like over 2 years.
Wow.
Really?
Like in our business, dude, it's wild. Like the metrics in the restaurant business are wild, dude. I bet in like the roofing business and others, they're tough too, because it's just tough labor and tough conditions. But like the average restaurant turns over more than like 2/3 of its staff like every 6 months. So if you annualize that, you're talking about 100% turnover. Ours is as a company, not just like specific brand, but as a whole, as a fold, is under 30%.
what do you do to show people that they want to stay? Like, how do you provide them that joy?
Yeah, I love that question. First, man, I just let people know how much they mean to us. Like, it's tattooed on me, dude, all in, right? Like to move with like all of your heart and might, no matter what it is that you do. And that's an old Aztec term, because like when a natural disaster was coming, an earthquake, tsunami, or whatever it is, they would shout to the tribe, like all in, which meant to like grab everything that you can and move with all your heart and might. And for me, it's like, I'm either all in on you or all out. There's no in between. Like, bro, look, when we met, when we were in Spain, like I'm either all in on you or I'm all out. It doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means that, dude, if I'm vibing with you, I'm going to FaceTime you in the middle of the night, building a fucking skateboard because you inspired me. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
And so the first and foremost, I think the recipe to my cultures, to what I lead within the organization, is that my people know I love them more than I love my business.
Wow. And
my business fucking thrives because of it. And so that also means there's tough love. That also means we're not going to prolong need to change. That also means like sometimes you got to fire your family members or your best friend. Truth is, like, I don't have a lot of close friends that work for me, and zero family works for me. And when I originally started the McHenry Group, I built it because I'm like, I want my family employed. I want to strengthen my legacy. And I realized that just doesn't work for me. I'm just going to take resources and choices that I have created in our business. I'm going to go help my family. Yeah. Right. Like, because I have a different pressure. Like and so the people that do work with me, they understand it and they respect it and they're rewarded. And it's pretty damn special, man. So they know I love them first and foremost. And then we work on all the other shit afterwards.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Bro, I wanted to congratulate you on the somewhat recent launch of Sunday's Best in the airport, bro. What was that deal like? Was it
6 years in the making, dog?
To do that.
Yeah, I mean, you get construction, dude, and then just complicate it with like TSA and security and like protected environments, and then you got to work through and navigate union relates and all the things that just kind of go through. But man, what's wild is that when they first approached me, the airport and also my partners, my incredible partners at SSP America, when they approached me, they originally contacted me in 2018. 2018 for this deal. Back. And so this is like long before Sunday's Best was even a vision. Like, it wasn't that much longer or, too long afterwards, because I work a lot on building these brands and I protect all the intellectual property in advance before I ever show them to people. But they came to me because what they were doing is they were saying, hey, the airport wants local, thoughtful, intentional restaurateurs and retailers. They want, Utah's very local focused, as you know, which is what I love about it. It's like why I say like we're one of the biggest little cities in the nation because of just how smart and swift and creative and progressive we are in such a captive market. So it's like, I love this state, as you know, like I love Utah. And so they approached me like in 2018. They're like, we want intentional restaurateurs. And so we just kept the conversation moving. And we actually failed on our first couple of RFPs. We had other brands and just like tried to kind of like a request for proposal, like from the airport saying, hey, like, this is what they had available. We requested, we went in and we didn't make it. Okay. And so like third time was the charm, and it was perfect timing, as it always is. Like, God's plan is always on time. And whether we want to believe it or not, like whether we want to challenge it or not, truth is like, we're just here to surf the waves, homie. We're not here to control the ocean. Yep. And he, it showed up with Sunday's Best. And, that's, thank you for seeing that, man, because so much work went into that. So many no's went into that. So much expense went into that. Like, that's about the closest our business gets to like a mailbox opportunity. Like you stand this thing up, you do it intentionally, you work with a large operating group, but like, it's sort of like you work your balls off for 6 years to get forever value. Yeah. And so dude, my team, my partners, my operating partners in SSP, like, and it's still early, bro. Like we're only a few months in, but like, that thing's going to be a staple in that airport 10 years from now. And so it's so special, and in like such an interesting time, like, 2024 was probably one of the toughest years I've ever had professionally and probably the best I've ever had personally. Like It's wild, the contrast of that, but it was like at extremes. Dude, I think about when I met you for the first time versus who you are sitting next to me now and who I am. Fucking wildly different, dude.
Big change.
And that was like sides. 2 years or something, or not even quite 2 years.
A year and a half. It'll be 2 years in July.
It'll be 2 years on my birthday.
Yeah, it will.
Like
bro, I forgot.
we actually ran with the Bulls in Paploma on my actual birthday, dog.
Yeah, dude,
when you decided to
sick.
actually take on a bull, I just decided to run near them. You just ran at them. And I thought that's really cool. You know, like I didn't want to die. I think you were willing to risk your life to take on that moment.
I think I understood the risk. I was like, I can just watch them go by and okay, there's the timing. Boom. Get a little touch. That was my goal, dude. I was like, I have to touch one bull.
We get that.
So that's just, dude, thank you for seeing that, man. It's special. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I remember just hearing you talk about it before it was finished and was like thinking you were kind of telling me the stats of like this many people through. And I'm like, holy crap. I never even thought about like you were saying, it's just going to freaking print for you, bro. Like that's just going to be there.
We just, we're earning it right now. We'll continue to earn it, but it's special what happens in there because you have, you look on the street and they always say like location, location, location. Like I have a great location under construction downtown. There's 60 to 70,000 cars in front of it. There's 1,200 residents within walking distance and there's 750 team members within like 2 square blocks. And we're like the centerpiece. That's pretty awesome, right?
Oh yeah. Sure.
But the airport's 30 million people to within walking distance of your front door annually. Just like, so that's cool. Yeah. Like that's a really great metric on the streets. Awesome. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, but wait, you mean you can't go on the other side and you have to stay in here for like an hour or two?
Yeah.
And so what's crazy about the airport, what's crazy about the Salt Lake City airport, and I think a lot of these people are nuts for not staying longer, but a greater percentage of those that fly into Salt Lake City are connecting. So it's like greater than 50% of the people that are flying in there, I think, don't hold me to the exact metric, but it's like a greater portion of those just connect. So they have layovers, connections. They hang out in the airport. So you're like, okay, so you're telling me like 10 to 15 million people are just chilling in there to catch their next flight. Cool. I like that. I like the chances of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't suck.
Wild, bro.
It doesn't suck. And as you've seen, bro, like we went all out on that. Yeah. In fact, it's up for some crazy awards right now.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. We're happy with it, dude, for sure.
So you've got the airport and then there's the one other Sunday's Best. Those are the 2 locations?
Yeah. So we have Sandy open right now. And then we have the airport open. And then we're just about a month and a half away from opening downtown.
Oh, that's
which is going to be crazy, dude. Right on 5th South, between 3rd and 4th West on 5th South at the Post District. And it's a 2-story experience. So the main floor is Sunday's Best and the upstairs is called Sunday School and it's a 21 and older experience. So it's like this very cool, like think like South Beach, like rooftop day lounge and like champagne bar. So it's like bright, poppy, vibey, all like high vibes. Not like we're not dimming the lights and getting moody in there. Like this is like you're coming in here to like boogie, daytime boogie.
Sick, dude.
Which I also think is like this movement, dude. Like people love their sleep now. Like it's just, I think the way people are entertaining, you're realizing people want to be more health focused. They want to just be more vibe focused. And so like being ahead of it, like recognizing the culture and being ahead of it, especially in Utah, like I just saw the opportunity for like, dude, there is a real way to day drink. And like protect your longevity, like get in your bed on time.
Yeah.
Like, and plus, dude, I just always believe, man, only bullshit happens after 11 PM.
Yeah.
It's true, man.
Like only bullshit happens. And like, dude, I'll probably end up, unless it's a private party, this thing's going to close at like 9 or 10 PM.
Wow.
It's actually perfect though.
That's actually really
That's what I'm seeing.
I like
that's what
I feel. That's an interesting
And it's like, dude, people thought I was crazy when I got in the brunch vertical. Like, dude, you have this beautiful restaurant. You're going to close it every day at 3 o'clock. Every day at 4 o'clock. What are you doing? Like, you should be open for dinner. I'm like, no, dude, I don't want to be like the next. I don't happen to be like a good restaurant that happens to serve brunch on the weekends, like most. I want to own the brunch vertical. And so it takes a lot of discipline to do something new, right? Like, dude, look at like app, like these guys like pulling buttons off of phones. Like, I'm not saying we're doing that. We're just saying, hey, man, we're going to close a beautiful restaurant at 3 o'clock. It's not like rocket science, but it takes a lot of discipline because you're like, geez, what's the actualized revenue that I'm missing? What could I be doing? You take like Sandy, for instance. It's the second most booked restaurant on OpenTable in the state of Utah. The second most. There's hundreds on their platform.
And it's closed at 3.
And they're only second to the number 1 grossing restaurant in all of Utah, which is Ruth Chris in downtown. And they do like bonkers volume. Like, dude, they do 3 times our volume. Or close to it. 2.5, 3 times our volume. Maybe about 3 times our volume. But we're number 2 most booked. So I'm like, I like metrics, not because I love to like compare myself. I like metrics, especially if we crush them. Cause it just like I just like to know how well we do.
It's the competitor.
Yeah. It's like, to me, I know that when we wake up every day, when we look in the mirror, that's our greatest competition, how we're going to show up this day. I just from time to time like to check metrics. Cause I'm like, nah.
I like to look back at metrics and see where we're going and where we've gone.
Totally. We always compare to like prior year, prior week. Yeah. We always look at like what that looks like. And so, and our ops every Monday, they deliver like what their performance was, week over or year over or over prior year, week over week. So we compare the exact same week over and it's like, hey, we're up 115%. We're up 114%. Like we're down. Awkward to say that because it doesn't really happen. Like we're not down very often, but it was like, it's last week, as I mentioned earlier, like we're up like 125% as a fold, but like what you measure, you achieve. Right. So I like that shit because economics, like you have to be careful in your culture so that everything doesn't mean like it's all about money.
Right.
But what I love about metrics is they're just super tangible.
Oh yeah.
Like, and you can't fake that shit. It's just like, hey man, like we put that money in the bank.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like you either win or you don't. And so, and there's always a good learning in it. And, it's not like it's unreasonable to be that you're just going to grow. Like at some point you have capacity issues, you have, other reasons, but I'm like, dude, I'd much rather have businesses bursting at the seams than trying to beg people to show up.
Oh yeah.
I like that. So I wanted to ask you also about provisions.
Yeah.
What's the story with provisions? How did that come about? What was the inspiration?
Yeah. So dude, what's wild about provisions is that's actually my chef partner, Tyler Stokes. So he's like the chef proprietor there. So Tyler and I partnered about 5 years ago. And provisions is like solely his brainchild.
Okay.
Like imagine me, like I'm kind of like the promoter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? Provisions, I'm kind of like their built-in promoter because I'm a huge advocate of his talents. And like, I just really believe there isn't a better place in the city to get dinner, like in Salt Lake City. Oh, yeah. Right. And so when it comes to like a Four Seasons menu, when it comes to New American, when it comes to pushing the boundaries, when it comes to service sequence, when it comes to quality, like those guys are champions. And so it's like, it's wild, dude. So many people think I like own that business. And the truth is I just take ownership of that business.
Really?
Because my partner, I really care about him and I want to see him succeed. So I have no direct vested interest in that business other than the fact that I just want him to succeed. And we do so much business. He and I do millions of dollars worth of business together that it's just like, well, hell yeah, bro. I'm going to be your biggest advocate.
That's so sick. I see you promoting it. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's one of his restaurants.
Right. It's not like I don't have a direct beneficiary from that. Just the fact that that's my dog. And maybe this is a good lesson. I learned this some time ago. By the way, you guys are in tough competitive business too, right? Like you're not the only person that like hangs a shingle. You're not the only person that races a car. Like you're not, you know what I mean? Like you guys have there's a lot of competition in that. And our business too, like one, it's the most subjective business on the planet, right? Like Nick Hallen tried to challenge me in this. He was like, no, my business. I'm like, bro, you think that titties are more subjective than salads? You're up in the night. Like every guy likes titties. Not every guy likes a salad. Like, shut up. Like, let's move on. You know what I mean? Like, but it's pretty easy to end that one, right? I'm like, but what is more subjective than the food business? Like, think about it. You have millions of taste buds.
Oh yeah.
You might like spicy, bro. You might like, bro, he kind of strikes me as like the IPA kind of beer guy or like a Pabst guy.
Is that true?
I'm not super versed in beers, but
I feel like you would love.
I fucked that up. Anyways, let's scratch that. Yeah. But I'm like where it's like, there's just this. I don't know, dude. There's just there's like a psychology to it, right?
Is it the atmosphere that also makes it taste better?
Yeah, there's just something, there's just some. I lost my train of thought, dude.
It's the subjectiveness.
Yeah. The business. Or what I was saying is the lesson in this, like, dude, we all need a tiny bit of the available market share to be wildly successful. Right. Like, just think about that. Like, bro, do you need 3.3 million deals to be wildly successful in your housing business, or do you just need like 100 a month or 25 a month or
100 a month?
Right. So I'm like, it blows my mind that competitors are like, fuck that guy, or like, no way, man. Like, I'm not going to open up anything. I'm like, dude, bro, by the way, come learn. And let me hopefully grab a few things. Dude, my meeting after this is actually with 2 other restaurateurs that like are in the Mexican vertical that I'm just going to go shoot the shit with. Cause like some influencer like connected us, and one of our restaurants are actually kind of nearby, but like we've never actually met. Wow. And what I love about this though is like, dude, I just need like a few hundred people to eat with me per store a day. And it's like, we're It's wild.
We're good.
We don't need 1,000. We don't need 30,000. We don't need 3 million. So like, by the way, I don't care if you have a restaurant right next door to me or not. I realize that if I just do my part, if I can just get a few hundred people to show up to me every day, which is possible, and I happen to have a pool of over 3 million to choose from, like, let's just go win together. Yeah. And so many people get that wrong. Like so many people get that wrong. And so my business is so subjective. It's just tough. Like it's tough to get it right because you have a certain flavor profile. You have one, I have one. We might align in the fact that we like enjoy tacos, or we might love everything in a tortilla, or you might like spicy and you might not. And I might like savory and you might like sweet. You might like sweet and savory. Like it's interesting. So you might drink. I may not drink. Like I don't drink, but I actually love the depth of how, like I love the composition and depth and art of distillery. I love the brewery. I have such appreciation for the craft and art in that, but I just don't drink. But I also like my partners and I own our own vodka, our own rum, our own brew, our own beer, soon to be tequila. Like, and I've just never actually drank a single cocktail that's mixed with it. Wow. But I have the flavor profiles and the tasters and my team and my partners that are like, they're far better at it anyways. And I'm just far better at getting people to drink it. You know,
like
so
that,
yeah, bro.
Dude, that's pretty inspiring. How much energy you're able to bring to what you're doing,
dude. Give it to Core Power, strawberry flavor, 42 grams. No sponsor yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I also wanted to ask you about the relationship. I was with Brian Wrigley, and he was hyping you up. He was like, "Oh yeah, me and him go back," and we were kicking ideas back in the day when we were kind of starting in this process. What
are you in group 4?
Yeah.
So you guys are in the same group?
Yep.
And you just went to your Ludus?
Yes, sir.
Was it dope?
It was awesome.
I mean, you've already jumped out of planes and shit.
Yeah, I was the only one that soloed.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone else was tandem.
It was like,
bro, I got like 100. I got like 1,000 jumps already, bro. Like you can tandem with me if you want. Bro, listen. Brian is a giant of a man. He's a special kind of human, and special kind of humans need a special amount of kind of pressure and friendship and love. And I don't know if that's what you're asking me, but you know, like pressing him, especially with Watt, was a big deal, you know, and I knew where he was in his personal life. I knew the transitions he was going through. I knew the success he created, but I recognized like how far away from himself he was. And the only reason I recognized that is because I got to be a bit of a mirror because I was just like a year ahead of him, you know? And I remember the day I told him that he had to join Watt, bro. I like pulled up to his office downtown and like, you know, it was like in this, he called it like the Lotus Mansion, and it's like on 6th East or something. And it's like kind of narrow. And I like, dude, I think I was in my Raptor and I fucking just rallied up basically in the front lawn. Just like cut off people, part on the curb, part on the driveway, part on like the landscape and shit. And I see him and he just like sees me through the window. It's like, bro, you're just going to like pop in on a fucking billionaire, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. It's just how I am. Like, if I fucking love you, dog, I don't care about your gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Cause I have them too.
Oh yeah.
And my friends that we have that relationship, they don't care about my gatekeepers either. Like you just kick the door open and come in. You can always reschedule a meeting or kick someone out, but very rarely do you kick your boys out. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you can ask me to wait a little bit, but I'm just going to be obnoxious. So I remember just telling him like, man, like this isn't actually like, I know I sent you this text about joining and it like seemed like I was inviting you and it was like thoughtful, but I'm actually just here telling you like, get on the fucking phone with Jimmy and you're joining. Like you need it. Mm-hmm. You just lost one of your best friends. Like, bro, you went through a divorce, you went through a breakup, like you've had your vices and they're just not sustainable. And like, you got too many fucking gifts to give to be in this spot. So it kind of just started there with like, we had an existing relationship, but it just kind of started with like some tough love. And then he ultimately bowed out. He's like, I'm out. I'm not going.
I didn't know
this was right before Moab. He's like, I'm not going. He's like, I'm out. I'm going to quit. And I was just like, I was in Newport, which was kind of crazy. I was actually at the marina, which is like one of his favorite places to be. So it's kind of reversed. Like he's home in Utah and I'm in Newport on like his favorite kind of dock, restaurants and shit. And, you know, he lives a good life. Yeah. I'm vacationing. I think homeboy like has a place there, you know? And I remember being on the phone with him and, you know, I think this is in the documentary too, but he wanted to bail and I just like, it's not a fucking choice. Like, I don't care what's on your schedule. I don't care if it's a daughter thing or what it is, like your family, what happens to you and for you in Moab will be the greatest gift you ever give your family. Don't you fucking dare. Like, don't you dare give up on that. Like, you go to Moab and then you want to quit. Great. Fine. Maybe I'll listen to you. But if you don't fucking go, like, I promise you'll regret it. And sure shit, man.
Okay.
You heard it. He's like,
loves it.
Changed my life forever.
I think he's made the biggest changes from that. Like, out of everybody talking and hearing him, he was all in. Once he like got there, and I could tell he wasn't when he said it across the documentary. He just didn't feel like it was what he needed. And he got there, and talking to him since, he's all in, and it's changed his life, and he shares that, and it's impressive to see.
And I think a lot of those times he'll put my name in it. The truth is he did all that work. We have a stewardship as brothers. Like, we have a responsibility. It drives me crazy, dude, when people grow and don't share. It drives me crazy when people are afraid to like show their selfie, man, or like talk about their addiction or like what they overcame. Like, dude, like no one cares about you hitting that home run in the World Series, dude, when you're on your best day of your life. They care when you hit the home run in the World Series, dude, when you have a broken fucking leg.
Yeah.
Or you're Tiger Woods, dude, who like won the Masters with a broken fucking back or leg or whatever it was. Or like, dude, those are the stories that people want. People want to hear that it's possible. And it's easy from the outside looking in at like someone like Brian, be like, bro, you have every choice in the world. You have all of this. And truth is, bro, you can have all the money in the world. You can have all the assets in the world and be a miserable fuck.
Yeah.
Because you haven't taken care of yourself, because you haven't gotten there. Dude, trust me, I never had those kind of choices, but I lived a really good life for a really long time. And I was very artful at pretending like my shit was together. Right. Like I had closet addictions, dude. I had like a self-convincing narrative that just like, I exposed myself only to me, I believed, over time. And when I stopped lying to myself, dude, my whole life changed. But I was so good at telling myself what I needed to hear, which I think that persuasion can actually be really good at times, but not if you use it in a form of darkness. Not if you use it in a way to manipulate yourself, to not seek your potential, not to do it in a way that like you're not living and maximizing your greatest self. I think that's a very dangerous, slippery slope. And I learned that. I learned that in the hallway in Moab, dude, that I saw myself for the first time in my adult life. I saw myself there, and you don't ever get to unsee that. Mm-hmm. And I think this is what a lot of men struggle with, dude. I think a lot of men specifically struggle with the fact that when they see it, then all of a sudden you have a responsibility. You can't fake it anymore. And a lot of guys struggle with taking full responsibility for their life and actions. Like, we want to hide out from it. Why, dude? And by the way, I love nice shit. I love nice things, but I buy them differently now. Like, I used to hide behind the nice car and the watch and the clothes and the house that I couldn't afford and all that shit, dude. And the truth is, like, yeah, I still love dope stuff, but I don't use it in the same way. I don't hide behind it to give me warrant. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it because I earned it. It's a part of my life.
Big difference.
It's part of my lifestyle. I don't use it to like, bro, even like, dude, I mean, yeah, like I'm wearing a pretty nice watch right now.
Yeah,
truth is, like,
what do you got on?
I have a Sky Dweller on with the blue face and the Jubilee, but it's like, I love wearing like my Apple Watch because I just love all the statistics like all the time, dude, you know? But at the same time, like, bro, I got these things and I earn them and I appreciate them and I want to rock them, but they don't serve me the same way. Like, there's something really fucking beautiful, dude, when you can see yourself for the first time and you can take ownership of what was and what is and what's about to become. And I just saw that with him, dude. And I'm like, bro, you have so much to give this world. You have so much to give this world. And there's a really dark side in there too. Like, we all have them, but his dark side was like, you know, the only reason I'm saying it is because he shared it publicly and he's put it on podcasts, he put it in books, but it's like, you know, he was dark. Like, he was questioning his life, taking his own life, to now, like, he will be a beacon for change.
Bro,
he stays on this path. He will be a beacon for change. And it took one person to hold him accountable on 2 instances. Think about the amount, think of the hundreds, if not thousands of lives the two of us will inspire positively because of those choices.
Bro, it's changed my life.
There you fucking go.
I can tell you that right now.
There you go.
Brian, like, knowing him and having him as a friend, life-changing.
There you go.
The insight, everything.
He's like one of the most eccentric humans you'll ever meet. And like, I want to believe that there's some of us out there that can leave that kind of impression on people, right? Like, and there's another guy from your group today that sent me a message this long. I'm going to his event tonight. You know him. And he was like, I had no idea the impact I had on this kid like 2 years ago. And he's like, bro, I shaped my whole personal brand based off of your authenticity and like what I see of you. And he's like, bro, it's put me in the driver's seat. I'm the top 500 in my industry the last 2 years. Like I'm grabbing my own. Yeah. He's like, I'm literally just, and it was really meaningful, dude. And he said something that was really powerful. And in fact, I want to read it to you guys real quick. Because I think it's worth sharing, man.
Dude, it's crazy with Solo. He was telling me some stuff of his childhood and all the things he's overcome. Yeah. And I looked at him and I was like, bro, you're the chosen one. And his face lit up. And it wasn't until 2 months later that I realized his name Solo means one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you literally are the chosen one. So now every time I see him, I don't even call him Solo. I just call him the chosen one.
I love that. He goes at the end of this long message, right? I mean, this thing's like 6 paragraphs. But at the bottom is like, dude, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me at Doused downtown. This was a while back. He goes, and for allowing me the opportunity to watch you rise. You've truly motivated someone like me from the hood to go out and make it happen. And now there's a lot of other stuff in here that's like a little more personal, but we don't even know that how we are impacting people from our own journey, right? Like I utilize like stories on Instagram to be kind of like my walking journal, right? Mm-hmm. Like sometimes even my brand team, like, bro, can you be like more restaurant specific? I'm like, no, I'm not going to be more just like restaurant specific or more like motivation or more like soft side. Like I'm just me. Whatever I'm vibing with, I'm just like posting. Like if I'm vibing with my daughters on the ski resort, dude, if I'm eating, if I'm talking, if something clicks my philosophy and like I want to share it, we just never know who's watching. Mm-hmm. And good, bad, or ugly. Because, bro, trust me, like, I'll use Brian and I as an example. Like, we can be the counter side of, like, influencing, you to do shit differently. Like, we knew how to party, too. We knew how to take a lot of people with us in that scene, too, right? And so it's a huge part of what I love about my sobriety. It's a big part of what I love about my recovery and my self-awareness and my self-love, is I feel like I have a responsibility, like a stewardship, to share it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Love it. Keep doing
I'm stoked on a lot of those boys, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible, man. I love the influence that you have, and you're just such an awesome person.
Shit, man. Thank you.
I know we've gone over some pretty heavier stuff, but I wanted to ask you before you head out, because I know you're on bit of a time.
Bro, please tell me we're going to talk about like Spain and when I met you and like skateboards. And
Let's talk about that.
Like, dude, I've never stayed in a hostel before.
Spain,
I've never
was wild,
cruised. Dude. I remember seeing you, dude, on the bus, and I'm like, I don't know, like, who this cat is, but there's like something about your energy, and I'm like, I fucking vibe with this guy. And all of a sudden, I find out you like buy a skateboard from a skate shop just so you can rip through all of Spain. And I'm just like, and I'm like, does anyone, like I'm talking to guys and like, no one really knows you. You're just sort of like,
my first,
you're like, I'm not even actually like a member or something.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I literally just joined. And then Jimmy was
like the tribe or something, right?
Yeah. I was just part of the tribe.
Like it just barely. You and, what's the dude's name? I'm forgetting his name. Connor.
Oh, Connor.
Yeah. But it's like, I met him on there. He kind of got hazed a little bit.
Did he really?
Not like on purpose really, but he kind of got hazed a little bit. We're like, yeah, bro, you want to make it on the leadership group, carry our shit. And he's like, all right, man.
No.
It was like Mark and I think Jimmy even said something to like Mark or one of us. I can't remember, but he's basically like, tribe. You can't, he's dude, like, you can't haze some tribe guys. And I'm like, bro, you want to be in leadership, dog? You better carry some fucking weight around here.
This is ringing a bell.
Yeah.
I think I do remember that.
But I remember seeing you, dude. And dude, I just remembered this right now. In fact, this morning when I was in the shower, I'm like, bro, I want to bring this picture. And I hope I can find it quickly. I think I can. I know this is being recorded, but let's just take our time because it'll be cool.
Yeah. That's
But I saw you, dude. And what was crazy is I saw this like prior version of myself in you, dude. That was like just kind of a cool thing to experience. There's this picture with my best friend Tyler West and I when we were kids, and we both got like the old school skateboards, you know, like this is in the 80s, like this is like late 80s. Let's call it like 88 to 90. So it's like a Mike McGill and a Tony Hawk, and we got like the Pal Peraltas and shit, and the fat, you know, we got like the Spacers and the Fat Wills and the Steps with the mohawk or with the front with the mullet. And we're wearing like the Vision streetwear gear. Like, bro, we were cool kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, I learned how to skate on vert. Right. My neighbors were the Gertsons, and they were from England, and they had built an 11-foot like roll-in half pipe in their backyard. So it was like, I just learned how to drop in on my knees. Then pretty soon they let me roll in. Then pretty soon I could drop in. And next thing you know, I'm like skating vert, and I'm like 8 years old, 10 years old. Ultimately I ended up like giving up skating to like protect my wrist and to bowl and such. But
That makes sense.
when I saw you, I saw my best friend, Tyler, in you. Like, he's a musician. He's actually in a similar industry as yours. He owns KT Custom Exterior Supply in Midvale. So he does a lot of custom exterior stuff. Great dude, successful, but like really good dude. But your guys' energy, like, bro, I want to give you like a visual. This is my best friend growing up. It was 2 grades and not quite 2 years older than me, but 2 grades. And so when I was in 7th grade, he was in 9th grade. He drove us to school when he's in 9th grade. I just want you to think about that. He had fucking tribal band tattoos in 9th grade. He fucking ironed his hair. He would, in the mornings, I would go over to his house because we both had single parents, but his mom, whatever it was, I don't know why he could drive, but he would drive and park in the freaking faculty area, and we'd walk into school. It was like bizarre. Like, can you imagine that shit happening now?
He just owns the place.
But I would go over there. There's a memory I have of going over there, dude. He would be in his boxers, drinking coffee, smoking a cigarette, listening to Fleetwood Mac in 9th grade. Like, I just want you to think about that for a moment.
Like a grown man.
Could you imagine, like, fucking no 9th grader acting that way right now? They're too soft.
Yeah,
like, bro, we just grew up in a different era. But there was this energy about him that just was light and kind of cool. And I just caught that with you. So when I saw you, like, I just all of a sudden was like, bro, that's my homie Tyler, kind of in a different season. So it was just fun.
I appreciate it,
to see that, man. And then ripping Spain, I had so much fun. And dude, so much of that was so much out of my comfort zone, dude. Like, I'd never traveled the country like that. I don't like tour buses. Like, I don't like sleeping in hostels. That was a wild experience, bro. Like, I remember there was one room we stayed in. It was like me, Dave Allred, Cody Broderick, Dustin Baugh, Drew Riley, and like myself. And I'm like, the collective net worth of this like cubby hostel. I'm like, and then in my mind, I'm like, but at what point would that ever happen again? Yeah. At what point, like, I mean, these guys collectively, like, there's in the billion in assets amongst these guys. And I just remember going like, dude, what a moment to like lay with a bunch of middle-aged fucking crushers in a hostel. And then what else was crazy, dude, is when I left there, or not left there, I remember showering. There's like a community shower that you had your own stalls, but the big vanity. And I remember, dude, coming out of the shower, and dude, this chick is just butt ass naked, like at the vanity, like getting ready. And she was like, hello. And I'm like, hey. And I'm like, I'm butt ass naked. She's butt ass naked. It's a European thing, maybe. Yeah, but there was no problem. Like, she's just butt ass naked. And I'm standing there. I'm like, dick out. I was like, okay. Like, it was all good. Everything was fine. And then like one of the other boys walks in. It was just like, I just don't know that I'd get that experience anywhere else.
Spain is wild.
Spain was wild, man. The food was awesome. The forage was awesome. The people were awesome. Dude, I chain smoked Camel Crushes. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. And in Spain, it just was nice.
European style.
It was just smooth, you know?
That's awesome.
So yeah, dude, I really appreciate you. There was some comfort in there that I didn't even realize. And I know you didn't know, but it was like, I'm in another country with a lot of guys I don't know, with a lot of guys that seem to know me. And for whatever reason, man, that association with you reminding me of my best friend gave me some comfort.
Oh, wow, man.
I didn't even tell you that.
That's
but
awesome.
there you fucking go, you know?
I'm glad, bro.
Yeah.
I love listening to you. I remember being on the bus and just listening to you tell stories. And I remember just thinking like, I would love to learn how to talk like that and pull, like, you were just like standing up and like, no, you pull him in and like.
Well, were you on the party bus?
No, I wasn't. I was on the chill bus. I didn't freaking sleep like the day before, and I was like,
so you didn't come onto the other one. That's all rowdy. So that was on the other side. Yeah. That was I want to say like my last hooray, but like that was before I got serious about my health, bro. I look at pictures from Spain to now. It's like, fuck, dude, I was fat, you know. But I was out of integrity within myself. Even even though I still got along with everyone and I had a lot of fun and it was igniting, but I still had a lot of work to do. You know, I hadn't dropped some of my vices yet. I hadn't got radically clear. And although like Moab put me on the path to change my life, the following 8 to 10 months was the hell I went through. And part of that was I was in Spain in that period, you know, like really, really working on my life still. So I like these versions the best though, bro. Yeah. So far. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, huge appreciation for you coming and doing this.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It means a lot to us. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we're just kind of kicking this thing off. This is episode number 9.
Is it really? Oh man, I love 9s, 12s, 3s, 24s. Like, dude, 9 is the number that I put the majority on every time I'm playing roulette.
Let's go.
I like number 9, bro. So we'll have to drop some of that on the episode. We'll do like a little episode drop and just like hit the table limit a couple times just to be ridiculous. I still like for whatever reason, bro. I mean, maybe that's why I picked the food business too. I like the odds stacked against me. I think that roulette has like the worst odds in the casino or something.
Probably.
But it's the funnest to fucking play, in my opinion, because it's so fast. It just moves so quick, and that's good for me. You know, it's good for me, man. I appreciate you letting me on your platform, man, and letting me take up so much space with you guys. And we talked about things that I love, man, like friends, people, like experiences, business, connectivity, you know, a little bit about Salt Lake City. You know, Utah is in this really, really beautiful intersection of just culture and sports and food and beverage and entertainment and art. It's really beautiful to see, you know, and you guys are a big part of that. Those that are like willing to take their time and interest to invest in platforms to have it be heard and to be seen. And, you know, I don't have my own podcast, but I just love to contribute to other people's, you know, platforms. I think I've been on like a couple hundred or something.
Wow.
But I love to share and just stir it up with people that I got some love and respect for. And so you guys checked those boxes. It was easy for me to prioritize.
You're the man, bro.
Appreciate it.
Likewise.
Appreciate your time.
All right, man. Cheers.
All right. That is a wrap, guys. If you haven't already, subscribe, comment, like, and we'll see you next time.
Yay.
Thank you.